Hey everyone, Isimemen Joby here, founder of Fulfilled, a transformational career coaching program for women of color and Black women who want to skyrocket their salaries, land their dream jobs, and live fulfilling lives. Today, I am here with Norma Jaime, who was one of our past clients, who had a phenomenal journey with us, and she is going to share her story. Norma is in the oil and gas industry, and she works in quality analysis. And Norma, I am just super excited to have you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Izzy, for inviting me.
Of course, of course. So Norma, let's just jump right in and talk to me a little bit about what life was like for you before we met each other, before you kind of came into the fulfilled world. What was it like with work every day?
It was exhausting.
Mhm.
It was exhausting. It wasn't because I didn't like work. It was just not. I wasn't able to identify really what about my job I liked and what I didn't like,
Yeah.
and so it was kind of like double duty whenever it was going to work every day, and then also trying to figure out what it is that I really like about what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it
And
was
go
pretty,
ahead.
no, it was pretty tiring.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead.
how did it leave you feeling kind of being in limbo about your value and what you like and you don't like? What really drove you to seek out help? What were you feeling?
I was feeling burned out. I was feeling that it was almost like a never-ending cycle, where trying to get to a certain objective or goal in my life. It just felt like I wasn't reaching it, or I wasn't getting closer to it. In fact, I was getting further away the
Wow.
more I doing what I was doing. So I knew something had to change. I didn't want to be in that space for myself or my family. So
Yeah.
that's what helped.
Because you're a mom, Norma, and it was actually impacting you. Like coming home, I remember you used to share like coming home after work, just being so tired and feeling burnt out, and you felt like it was impacting how you showed up as a mother and even as a wife.
Yes, I wasn't present. I wanted
Yeah.
to be for my direct reports at work, but I also wanted to be present for my family, and it was very difficult to balance that.
Mhm.
So it felt like I was divided, but at the same time, it was odd because I was giving all of myself to my employees, and I wanted to do the same for my family, but I wasn't really showing up for either of them
Wow.
as how I show up.
Wow. So, Norma, tell us, you come into the room and you join us in Fulfilled. And I know coming into the room, making that investment, having that conversation that day, what was that like for you?
I heard a lot of conversations. A lot of them sounded very similar to what I was going through. It was a relief because I was
Mm.
able to identify with a lot of the member stories as well. And it helped me realize that I wasn't alone, that there was another group of very like intelligent and funny and wise women, that it's almost kind of like this culture of our workspace, like where we were working at. It was kind of like removing all of that amazing traits that we had. They were almost minimized at work, but
Mhm.
when we came into this circle, it just felt like you, especially you, and like the rest of the coaches, like, no, you have to shine. Don't let anybody take that away from you. And that is, it's almost kind of like it started that ignition of like what we went into the workforce with. It's almost like that's true. Like that is exactly who I am. It's just for some reason it was like stopped as
Mm.
I continued my career, because we were trying to be at a certain level with everybody else, but it's not the right thing to do. We do have to stand out. uh,
Yeah.
we have different skill sets and different perspectives, so that was very valuable for me to learn that as I went into this group and hearing these stories, we're like, wow, we have a lot to offer. So we should start showing up like that, like to show
Yeah,
what we have to offer.
absolutely, Norma. So you came into Fulfilled and you come into this community of incredible women, and you're like, wait, you guys understand me. We're going through the same things. Can you talk to me about what was your experience like being in the program? What part of the program just really was impactful for you? Was there anything that really stood out? Anything you loved? Anything that really helped you completely transform your life?
Yes, yes, and I've done this like 3 times already. It's the mindset module. So like
Mm,
where I have to actually dig in to really understand why I'm thinking or applying myself in a certain way in certain areas. Or so it's all about the mindset, right? Like that was one of the phases or the stages in the program where I probably spent 1/3 of the time in.
wow.
um and I just could not figure it out because really I wasn't opening up because I
Mm,
was afraid. I was
wow.
what was gonna come out. And I just had to like take that leap. I had to be courageous, and it's crazy to think that you have to be courageous with yourself in order to be
Mm,
with everybody else or with whomever
yes.
you're up with. And I had no idea. I had no idea that I was afraid of my own self. And I remember that once I figured that out, that I all this time I just been afraid to be myself, or I've been afraid
Mm,
to understand truly what was hindering my growth.
yeah,
Um, Once I was able to figure that out, I I just kind of like transformed
wow.
internally. And then I started showing up differently at the places that I would interview, at my job, with my family. It was just a whole different way of seeing things, which was amazing.
Wow, incredible. And Norma, as you began to change, what would you say were the biggest wins you experienced in the program, the biggest wins that were propelled and birthed out of the work you did in Fulfilled?
So I thought whenever I started Fulfilled that the biggest win would be me getting a better job, better income, being valued, at my workplace. But in reality, it was more about me really understanding the value I want to share with
Mm,
the rest of whomever, like of an organization that I work for, my family, with people I meet. Um, and what is it that makes me like unique as I'm like communicating with someone else, and what can I offer them? It doesn't have to be necessarily in the workplace. It's just kind of like having this connection with people, and
mm,
it it's really interesting to see how whenever you understand yourself and what you're able to offer, as part of like your package, your value package, you show up like that at interviews, and it's very relaxing as well. Like it's like you just go in there, you know who you are, makes you very confident. You're confident in yourself, so you're able to again talk like that as you're interviewing, because you know then and there that if something is not aligning with your
yep,
values,
yep.
you just don't have, it's just not aligning. It has nothing to do with the organization or with the interviewer. It's just not aligning, and you're okay to walk away, and you're okay if it just did not work out,
Mm,
because you already understand yourself and how you would mesh with that organization or with that group of people. So
yeah.
it's like traumatic whenever you hear a no, because you're just like, oh, I kind of figured, but it doesn't stick with you because you already know who you are and what you're able to offer.
Wow. So
Yeah.
Norma, the way you saw yourself, and that's one thing I saw when we were coaching you, you would come in And one thing I love is that you would ask questions almost every week. And the thing about Fulfilled is we coach you into your new role, and we also coach you in your current role so that you can level up. Because people think sometimes the answer is going to a million different companies. No, the answer is becoming a better person and understanding the tools, understanding boundaries, understanding how to speak up for yourself. So you ask so many incredible questions around how to navigate. I love that about you. You're like, I have a question. I have another question. I have another. We're like, bring it, Norma, bring it, bring it, bring it. And I feel like you got so much from the program because you were constantly advocating for yourself and asking questions. Can you share with us what were the wins you experienced as it relates to your role and your salary? What changed for you coming out of the program?
So what changed is that I I'm not I'm not um I'm not a support role like how I used to call myself.
Yes.
I was a support role, trying to help others, constantly figure out the answer. And now it's more of me speaking up, knowing, the answer, and more of here's my recommendation,
Yes.
kind of like I don't know, attitude towards things, towards problems. It's
Yeah.
like, so I see this problem from my experience. I know this will work. I can help you apply it. I can start the documentation for that, and then I can help you train. Things like that, like more of of uh, how do you say it?
A
Instead,
leader, an asset, seeing yourself as an asset
yes,
and being a leader.
yes, like I'm gonna add value. I'm not just gonna follow the instructions provided,
Oh, yeah.
and that
Yeah.
was a huge win for me because I I mean, I do have this experience, that I'm able to offer.
Yes.
It's almost like I and I saw this a lot with the other ladies as well, as we're getting these wins because we're starting to see each other as like leaders. Like we're like, no, we do know what we know. And that's what I say a lot. I know what I know. I don't know a lot. And I will ask questions and I will learn. That has nothing to do with all the experience I've gathered through the years, you know?
Yeah.
And that is what I can bring to the organization. But again, and that's one of the questions I ask, what if they refuse that recommendation? What if they don't want to go with your suggestion? How do we take that? That was one of the questions that I asked, because it feels like the no's are always like rejections, but
Mm,
it's just not working for them at that time.
that's
But then
it.
if you come back and request that kind of, you know,
Yeah.
and like, what were you talking about last time? So you do tend to get that, return customers.
Yeah. 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 From the people on your team.
Yeah.
And you're able to take that mindset and land a better role
Yes.
in what you love,
Yes.
making 20% more. Can you talk
Yes.
to us about that?
So I I understood that I did not want to be like a manager, in the sense of like managing other people. I did want to help create and develop teams and people in organizations in order to have like a more like solid cross-functioning teams. So I was able to like pinpoint through this program exactly what I actually wanted to do,
Yeah.
still not undervaluing how much I wanted to make, and understand that there are so many roles, where you can have this kind of responsibility, do what you actually want to do, and make the money you want to make in a certain environment. So you can actually like customize the role you want, to do what you want to do and to work with the people you want to work with.
Yes.
I had no idea I thought you just had to fit into this box. So
Yeah.
I mean, I landed this amazing role, which is a quality analyst. And it's still in an oil and gas industry, which I did not want to be in the oil and gas industry. I wanted to look forward to the future. However, this organization that I'm working at right now, it's I'm able to see like the perspective of the CEO, as far as like there are a lot of technological advancements for energy, but there still has to be, you know, a certain organization that can maintain certain products, because that's gonna be later on in the future, you know. So it's almost kind of like this organization is looking towards the future, and it's also in the present, you know, to be, and I love that. I love that. It's at least we're looking to the future, and that's one of my values, you know. So I was able to kind of navigate all of that, you know. So it was good. Yeah. And I got a raise.
And you got a nice raise, and you confidently asked for more money, and you broke into six figures. You're doing work you love. You're in a role you love. You're confident, and you become a better wife and a better mom and a better everything.
Yes. And I'm able to say it because it happens, you know, it happens in all of the organizations. When they see that you have this potential, they're like, okay, well, take on this, take on that, take on that. I'm able to now say, well, I'm not gonna do that. Right now I don't have enough, you know, like my bandwidth is this much, or what do you want me to prioritize? So I'm able to like do that way better than I
I'll do
used
that
to
in the
do.
program. Remember, you used to struggle with that so much, Norma. And now and guess what? You still have a job. You're still gonna get promoted, and you say no.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird. But I think it's because of that, because you have, like, I am working with people that understand that, you know what, you're right. You know, like, I'd rather you say no, you can't, than yes, I will, and then you fail. So it's kind of like setting those expectations for yourself, and then sharing that with your manager, sharing that with your team, and then, you know, ultimately it kind of spreads out to the customer, to your suppliers, and we're all maintaining this kind of standard for expectations, you know. But it has to start with an individual, you know. It has to.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm really grateful that was one of the things I did struggle with, but I kept on like asking the same question, probably like
we had you.
Yeah.
You're asking in different ways. Like, don't worry, Norma. Do this, Norma. Send this email, Norma. Say this to this person at this time, Norma. Like, but that's the power of being coached and having a team of coaches and mentors who guide you every step of the way. And even in the program, Norma, what would you say were parts that really challenged you? Like, it kicked your butt. It was totally worth it, but it was definitely challenging.
I mean, it's the mindset thing again.
Yeah.
It's because if you don't have that strong practice of constantly practicing what you already know, like, to go back to, like, okay, really, what is your goal here? What's your objective? What are you trying to where are you trying to go? Because you can get distracted. You can get distracted by a lot of things that come your way, like, oh, well, I need more money, so maybe I don't have to follow that dream. Maybe that's unrealistic, you know, things like that. Or I don't have enough time to complete this section, or I don't have enough time to, like, turn in this work, you know, because I have to work, like, so I can continue this program. And I would hear that a lot from myself. So I remember I told you as well. I was like, easy, I'm gonna finish this. I don't care. I'm gonna finish this week, because I knew I was giving excuses for to myself. Like, the only one I was hurting was myself. So, like, this, you know, the coaching experience, like, having you and other coaches to, like, help me through all of these difficult things. I mean, it's just such a great investment that I did. It was like the best investment. It has shown you have to do that. You have to invest in yourself, you know? So yes.
Oh my gosh, Norma, I love that. And it's funny because even in the program, you had challenges. You had someone close to you, if I remember, you know, move on and pass away. And the thing about Fulfilled is we work with our women when people have lost people. We will, you know, give you a pause if you need to, and then come back. And you paused and you came back strong as ever and finished out And you could have used that as an excuse. This happened in my life, so let me stop. You're like, no, I've got to keep creating a better life for me and my family. And at the end of the day, you were able to heal, but you finished and you got so much from this experience. So kudos to you for showing up for yourself, because we can't do the work for you.
Yeah,
right? We're here to coach you, and we have the curriculum, and we have the training, and we have the strategy, but you've got to show up. And that's one thing you did. You showed up.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate about you, like letting me like walk away for a little bit just to grieve. And then I was able to come back and understand why I definitely needed to do this, because the time is limited.
Yes.
It's so limited, and that is like our most valuable resource.
Yes.
The smarter we work, the more value that we create for ourselves. It's almost like you're multiplying it to your family. And that time that you just cannot get back, so you have to grasp it as you have it. So we have to be smarter about the way that we communicate, the questions we ask, in order to leap us towards like a better future, not just for ourselves, but for our children, or for like whomever, that for yourself, at the end of the day. But time, like that's just something you're not gonna get back, is what it is right now.
So powerful. Norma, what would you say to a woman who is considering doing this work, who is, maybe afraid to invest the thousands in the transformation, who is unsure, should she do Fulfilled? Will this work for her? What would you say to that woman?
I would say that I understand that it's a lot. It sounds like a lot of money. The way that I sold it to myself, when I thought of that, of like the thousands that could be for childcare or whatever we spend on, it will come back. Even if you get a 10% raise in your new job that you're so happy with, happier than what you are right now, it is so well worth it. It is gonna continue to multiply, and it's just an investment that you have to make. I don't know how else to say that, but you have to invest in yourself. And if you know that you've already been investing in resumes, that, oh, somebody's going to write my resume, $500 here, $300, whatever the price is, like that's not the issue. The issue is not resumes or connections. The issue might be, for me, it was me. Like, and I would have never been able to understand that through somebody else writing a resume.
Come on, Norma.
Updating my, and like that wasn't, even though that's a great package, thank you so much, that wasn't like the value add was really, really having these calls with you and the rest of these women, and sharing these experiences, and kind of sharing each other on, and understanding that, what, I've been through that, this is how I handled it, or like, what, go to your like policies and look through that to understand what really is your job, or like, how do we handle this? How do we navigate this? That is the value. That is the value, and digging in and continuing to ask those questions as they come up in your actual job, and as you're interviewing. So that's, and just invest in yourself.
Come on. Norma, thank you so much for this conversation. Watching you glow. I remember when you said one day on one of the calls, you were like, your daughter is like, Mommy, I love this new version of you. Yeah. And I felt like I got emotional, because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's the goal of Fulfilled, is that you would become this fulfilled woman all the way around, not just make more money. No, yeah, money is great. That's cool. You made more money. You're in a better role, but you're a better person and you're happier. Like before the call, you're like, I'm going to my daughter's ballet recital, you know, and if you were in some job that you hated, that was draining you, that was burning you out or making you work all these hours, you wouldn't be able to be there, or you wouldn't be there in joy, but you have boundaries. You're
Yeah.
showing, and it's just beautiful to see.
Yeah, thank you. No, like, and if you had asked me that question and I was like, let's say burned out, I probably wouldn't even have remembered that I have a recital to go to tomorrow at 5:30. It's like way out of my sphere of things to worry about right now.
Wow.
You know, I probably would have opened up the call with like, oh my God, I'm stressed out. Like, can we talk about this thing that's happening to me? And honestly, I can't even think. I know there's things going on at work, but it's kind of like it's work. I'm gonna figure it out.
Yes,
You know,
you're
it's
present.
like, yeah, exactly. I'm very present in my life and for my children, but I am not. I'm very professional in the sense of like I'm here for work too. It's
Yeah.
just not take over who I am. Like
Yeah.
it's part of life, you know.
Norma, thank you.
Thank
So
you.
you are so welcome. This was a phenomenal conversation. I'm wishing you the best, more blessings, more leveling up, more promotions, and have fun at your daughter's recital.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Norma.